The knife pressed against the fabric of her uniform, cold and sharp, and every recruit in the circle froze as the instructor sliced downward and exposed a hidden scar they were never meant to see. 5 seconds later, the woman who kept her head down since day, one moved faster than any of them had ever witnessed, and the 3 men holding her were on the ground with their wrists pinned. That moment changed the entire training base. Asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. Her name was Riley Hart. She entered the program without rank patches, without a unit badge, and without a single complaint. She carried herself like a quiet shadow who never wanted attention. The others assumed she was nervous, maybe inexperienced, maybe someone who barely passed the entry requirements. They were wrong, but none of them knew how wrong. Riley arrived during the cold season when the air burned inside the lungs. The training yard smelled of dust and steel. The instructors barked instructions from the moment the sun rose, pushing them harder with every passing day. Most recruits tried to show off strength or confidence. Riley kept her eyes forward and gave clear responses. She blended with the group so effectively that even the officers barely noticed her. She wanted anonymity more than recognition. Rumors spread quickly. Some said she had been transferred from a civilian background. Others claimed she failed a previous assessment. A few recruits mocked her silence and slow movements during warm-ups. Riley never reacted. She moved at her own controlled pace and kept her focus internal. Her calmness irritated the louder personalities, especially one man named Travis Kent. Travis loved attention. He bragged about future promotions and talked about who he planned to lead once the training ended. Riley became an easy target for his arrogance. During the first week, Travis tried to prove his dominance by challenging her during partner drills. He pushed her shoulder harder than necessary. He whispered that she would not last a month. Riley met his eyes with steady calm and continued the drill. She never pushed back. She conserved energy. She controlled emotion. Her silence made Travis feel ignored, and he hated being ignored. The instructors noticed her reserved nature, and one of them, Sergeant Rourke, grew suspicious. He had trained hundreds of soldiers over the years and recognized discipline when he saw it. Riley was not quiet out of fear. She was quiet because she had more control than the others. Rourke watched her during every test. Her movements were precise. Her breathing was steady. Her eyes scanned every angle of the environment as if it were instinct. Still, she never showed actual skill. She held back during grappling exercises. She ran at a pace slightly below her capacity. She punched with controlled force but not full strength. Most recruits overlooked it. Travis did not. His frustration turned into anger. He wanted to expose her weakness in front of everyone. The conflict began during a close-quarters simulation. It was a routine assessment where instructors observed how recruits reacted under pressure. The team entered the training hall. The air carried tension. The instructors stood with training knives made of dull metal. They explained that today was about reaction, awareness, and composure. The recruits paired up. Riley was placed near the back of the formation. Travis exchanged a smirk with another recruit and whispered that this would be the day Riley finally broke. The simulation started with sudden movements from the instructors. They lunged, grabbed, redirected, and tested reflexes. Some recruits panicked. Some held their ground. Riley moved with slow caution, analyzing instead of reacting. Her lack of aggression annoyed the instructors. They needed to know if she could handle pressure or if she was simply avoiding conflict. Sergeant Rourke stepped forward and ordered Riley to the center. The circle tightened around her. Travis and 2 other recruits were chosen to act as mock aggressors. Rourke wanted to test her under a scenario she could not avoid. Travis smiled as he adjusted the training knife on his belt. Riley maintained a calm and steady posture. Rourke announced that the test would begin with a controlled restraint maneuver. The 3 recruits surrounded Riley. At first, they followed instructions, gripping her arms. She offered minimal resistance. Travis whispered an insult under his breath. Then he signaled the others, and they shifted the drill into something more humiliating. Travis pulled the training knife and dragged it across Riley's uniform shirt, cutting the top fabric clean down the front. The unnecessary action shocked the circle. Gasps filled the hall. The blade revealed a deep scar across her chest. It was the kind of scar earned only in real combat. Everything changed in that moment. Riley inhaled once. Then she moved. Her right hand twisted free with lightning speed. She seized Travis by the wrist and redirected the knife before he understood what happened. The second recruit lunged, but she pivoted, trapped his arm, and dropped him to the ground. The third tried to grab her shoulder, and she stepped forward, locked his elbow, and forced him into the mat. Travis swung wildly out of panic. Riley turned, caught his forearm, and disarmed him with a fluid motion so clean that even the instructor stood speechless. All three recruits were on their knees or face down in less than 5 seconds. The hall fell silent. Travis stared at her with shock and fear. The cut uniform revealed a scar that seemed ancient, shaped by fire and shrapnel. Riley straightened her posture and met Sergeant Rourke's gaze. For the first time since arriving, she looked like a soldier with history. Rourke stepped forward and asked her where she earned that scar. Riley answered with steady clarity. She had been part of a classified response unit 2 years earlier. Her team was hit during an unexpected ambush. She survived, but the trauma left her struggling with leadership expectations. She requested reassignment under anonymity to rebuild her confidence without the weight of rank. The command approved it under strict confidentiality. The recruits around her felt their pride dissolve into humility. Travis lowered his head. His bravado vanished. He realized he had mocked someone who fought battles he could not imagine. Riley did not seek revenge or attention. She simply stood quietly while the truth finally revealed what she wanted to hide. The instructors gathered and spoke privately. When they returned, Rourke told the group that skill does not always announce itself loudly. True strength often chooses humility. Riley had been a decorated soldier long before she entered the program, yet she trained beside them as if she was starting from zero. Her intention was not to show dominance, but to rebuild herself without titles or expectations. The following days transformed the unit. Recruits who once competed now worked together. Travis approached Riley with genuine apology. She accepted it without bitterness. Her calmness earned respect instead of resentment. She partnered with the slower recruits and helped them improve. She rebuilt the confidence she lost after the ambush and found a new sense of purpose in guiding others. Riley's journey became a lesson for the entire base. Scars did not define weakness. They defined survival. She reminded everyone that sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who chooses silence over ego. Her presence changed the tone of the training program. Recruits who once valued pride began to value discipline. Those who relied on loud confidence learned that quiet mastery carried far more weight. When the final evaluation day arrived, Riley moved with renewed certainty. She completed every drill with clarity. She led by example without claiming authority. The instructors recognized her growth and reinstated her rank privately. She accepted it with gratitude. She no longer feared the weight of responsibility. She embraced it with the wisdom of someone who rebuilt herself from the inside. The recruits watched her walk across the yard with steady steps and realized that respect is not demanded. It is earned through character. Riley completed the program with the highest evaluation of her class. Travis shook her hand before she boarded the transport vehicle. There was no tension, only understanding. Riley left the base with a quiet smile. She entered training as a shadow and walked out as someone who reclaimed her identity. The scar that once felt like a reminder of failure became a symbol of resilience. Her story reminded everyone that strength is measured not by noise or aggression, but by the courage to rise again after breaking. What did the story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.